Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to install a whole house water filtration system. I'm in the garage, as you can probably tell, and just there is where the mains point of entry is, and then it goes up into the ceiling there. Next to that I believe is the MBN, and then next to that, just that brown bit there, is the meter box wiring, which then goes up into the ceiling as well. So I'm going to be installing it just here on this wall, intersecting into the mains copper pipe here, just above the outdoor garden tap. I just don't think there's enough room for me to intersect here and capture the garden tap there, so I'll just go a little bit above, and then just using push-on connectors I'll be able to route the mains water into the system and then back out into the mains and then into the ceiling. And just using PEX will allow me to be more flexible with the routing of the water, because I've got to go around the MBN over onto the wall there. So what do we have in the system? So just in front of you there is the bracket. So it's a 3-stage system, as I'll show you in a second. Already had these in my shed, so they'll be used to fix the bracket to the wall. Over to the system here, it's a 3-stage system. Starting from the left, we've got a antibacterial sediment filter, followed by a 1 micron coconut carbon block filter, followed by a 0.5 micron coconut carbon block filter. So these two filters here are the ones that are critical to chlorine reduction, plus all the other nasties that you can see there on the label. And this system here is the biggest one that they sell. It's a 20-inch by 4.5-inch cartridge. So this should be able to do our whole home for about a year before these cartridges need to be replaced. And I paid a little bit more to get these pressure gauges here, which you'll see when I fit them on. They just sit on top there and screw in, and they're supposed to indicate when the cartridge may need to be changed. So we'll see. But you can buy the system without these for a little bit less. They came with not one, but 2 wrenches to undo the cartridges. Sorry, the casings for the cartridges. We've got rainwater as well, so I've already got one, because we've got a 10-inch by 4.5-inch Big Blue filtering the rainwater, which is used for the toilets, and 2 taps, 2 garden taps. Not this one here. One in the backyard and then one over the other side at the front. So in terms of the filter system location, it seems to be perfect. So I'm really glad that the water point of entry is on the garage side, so I can just mount it here and then just intersect the water supply to run through the filter and then rejoin. In terms of tools, I've got a pipe cutter there, masonry bits to drill into the brickwork, power drill, earmuffs, level, and an assortment of other tools I may or may not need. Okay, I've marked up where I'm going to be mounting the system, and what I did was I just used my wheel stop here, put the filter system on here just so I could gauge where I wanted to put it, and then just marked it on the wall using a level. The instructions say to mount the system no closer than 100 millimeters from the ground, so that you can actually get the wrench on to drop the casings down to get the filters out. So it's well above that. I wanted to go a bit higher anyway, so I just think that's a good spot there. Alright, we've got the plate mounted there. So we'll just screw these filters in, and then we're done for part 1. Okay, part 2, the installation. A bit of a limitation with this pipe cutter here is that if the pipe is too close to the wall, you can't actually get it all the way around, so I have to finish it off with a little baby hacksaw. So you can see here, I think it's because I didn't actually have it seated properly on these two runners. So, and given I've got a little bit more space, it's very soft copper, so that's the other kind of thing you need to be mindful of, is not pressing too hard with this pipe cutter. So I'll just be a little bit more gentle this time, and I don't want to have that deformity when I'm trying to connect this push-on connector, because there's a risk of, well, I think it will leak. So I just want to make sure that I've got a perfectly round pipe to connect onto. I'm going to use a Stanley knife just to deburr the inside here. On. Just need to mark the cut here. So I had to go a little bit further down, so my original cut line I'm going to have to adjust. So. 3-stage whole house filter system installed. Quite rudimentary installation, I have to say, but hey, I'm not a plumber. But so far so good, no leaks or anything to speak of as yet, and it's been about 40 or so minutes. I'll put all the costs and everything into the description and the pinned comment, just so you can see how much in total I spent on this system. It was about, would be less than $1,000, I'd say. But I'll put everything there itemized just so you can see it. Obviously the label is free because I did it, so it's just my time. Alright, it's a couple of weeks since my last video, and I just wanted to revisit the water system installation here to talk about a couple of changes that I made to it. So the first thing that you'll notice is there is no longer a pressure limiting valve between the isolation valve and the filter system. The reason is that I wasn't satisfied with the water pressure. To adjust the pressure, you're left to the isolation valve, which I've got completely open there, or the tap at the meter, which is the old school way. But with that pressure limiting device removed, the pressure has been completely restored to what it was before I installed this system. So back to normal, and very happy with that. The second change I made was to install 2 90-degree elbow connectors. So earlier in my video I told you that the hardware store had run out of them and to come back a week later. So I went back and got those elbow connectors, and I'm much happier with the path of the piping now. It's far neater running behind the cartridges and taking more of a direct and horizontal path to rejoin the water line there into the house. And just a bit of a tip is to write the date that the filters started filtering so that you know when you should change them. So this particular system here, it's recommended to change the filters every 12 months. This is not a change to the system, but you'll see I've done some painting. The water line there on the left, the NBN covering, and the wiring from the meter box. So didn't have any brown paint, but this is classic cream, Colorbond classic cream. Some of the exterior trims and so on are painted in this color, so I had some left over, and why not use it? But I think it looks quite good. I'll just step back so you can take in the entire system there. So yeah, very happy. We now have much cleaner water. There is no chlorine smell whatsoever, and I think it's a pretty neat looking installation, if I must say so myself. That white tie there, that's just there to keep the water line off the NBN cover until the paint dries. I only just painted this earlier today, but yeah, alright, I'll leave it there. Any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you. And as always, thanks for watching. Cheers.